So hello and welcome to this first in a series of videos on the Behringer D, or Model D. This is their version or take or model or clone or copy, whatever you want to say. I'm not going to get into any of the politics here, but their version of the classic Moog Minimoog Model D. There's various versions of the Model D and reiterations and Mark 1s, Mark 2s. We don't know which this one is based on, but this is their version. Around the back, we just have a low and a high output, some dip switches for the MIDI channel, power inlet, which is these barrel style, almost guitar pedal style connectors, and an on and off switch. So let's run down the features in this introductory video to the series, and then I'm going to get in some patches here, just play around and have a jam. Later videos in the series will focus on the controllers, the oscillator bank, the mixer, the filter, the two envelopes, all these switching options, the in and outs that are eurorack compatible, and the output section. So we start with a master tune, and for those that aren't familiar with the oscillator bank, this is kind of oscillator 1's tuning, and everything else works from there. We have a glide for the USB and MIDI input. The glide doesn't work for the volt per octave in. We have a modulation mix and two switches, where this side can be VCO free or oscillator free, or the filter envelope, and that's where we route oscillator modulation and filter modulation. And also we can blend over to be either the noise or the LFO, and there's our additional LFO. We have three oscillators with a low, which is LFO, CV, sub audio rates, 32 foot, 16 foot, 8 foot, 4 and 2 on our octave switches. And you can probably hear that. Nice clunky, these feel sturdy switches. We have a triangle, a classic Moog shark tooth waveform, which is kind of ramp on one side and a smooth wave on the other, somewhere between a triangle and a saw or ramp. A ramp wave, a square, and two different varying pulses of square. We don't get pulse width modulation, just like we didn't on the original Model D. We've got three different pulse width squares instead. Two more oscillators with a tuning offset, but the same features. We can plug in an external mod source, a volt per octave source, and CV in this section to control the LFO. Now the mixer has switches for the three oscillators. These carry across. So this is the volume of VCO1 and its on off switch, VCO2, VCO3. In between there we have an external in with a level and its own on and off switch, and an overload LED, which is useful, a noise volume and its own, again, on off switch, and white and pink noise. Moving across, we've got a low or a high pass filter. So the addition of high pass filter in here, we can turn on modulation for the filter, again based on this section, the mod can route in on the controllers. We can turn keyboard control on, which will go a third or 2/3 or fully volt per octave tracking. That's something we'll get into in later videos. Basically the pitch is tracking the filter, much like how Roland devices work. Say an SH01 has the option to key track, modulate the filter. We've got filter decay, which turns on the release portion of this attack, decay, sustain envelope that would cut straight off after the sustain unless you turn that on, and that decay, you get the release as well. It's kind of classic Minimoog style 3-point envelope. Same for the loudness, which is the amplifier section. We've got cutoff CV, a gate input for the frequency, the cutoff, the filter cutoff. The filter envelope, the filter contour, has an output. The loudness contour has its own output, and we've got a gate input for the loudness contour as well. We also get outs for the LFO triangle and the LFO square, and the mix out from this mixer. We then have CV over the loudness separately. So if you wanted to plug in a sequence or some random information, say from modular, all this stuff behind in the shot, We can do that as well as modulate it with the envelope. Have a volume and an on and off for the main out that's there. A440 for a tuning reference, and headphones with a headphone volume. So let's get into some patches and have a jam with this thing. Let's see how it sounds. So I hope you've liked those patches with the Behringer D. The full patch videos are already going up on my Patreon page. If you'd like to support me there, get videos earlier, early access to things, and exclusive videos and bonuses there. The link is in the description. The full patch videos will also go up full on my YouTube channel very soon, publicly for everyone. But if you want early access, head to Patreon. I hope you like the jam videos with the full versions of these patches that I've just chopped between for this intro video. And please subscribe, and I hope you're looking forward to some future videos where I will go through the sounds and the functions of, say, the oscillator bank, the mixers, the filter, the envelopes, how snappy they are, what kind of shape they have. We're going to get in depth in a kind of multi-part series of videos on the Behringer D. Hit like, subscribe, comment, share away. It's always great to hear from people, so feel free to say anything. And thanks for watching. Cheers.